All right, we are live. Just open up some fuel here because I'm probably going to need it. All right, hey there, Justin here, and today I just got in the Yamaha CK88, and hopefully this one will be the winner, as I've been trying to find a portable stage piano setup that has an action that my hands can tolerate, and it has not been very good luck as of late. If you saw my review of the Roland RD88, I had to send that one back because the action was just horrible and the sound sounded too artificial for me. So we got this, but before we get to this, there's a couple things that I want to address. One of them is I got some requests through some comments on the RD88 video on the review, on my thoughts on it, to take a look at some other digital pianos like the Studio Logic Numa series and some of the Decibel ones. I'm not going to be able to do that because I'm on an extremely limited income, and I am totally comfortable talking about this because it is who I am. I have autism spectrum disorder. I also have a pretty crippling anxiety disorder that prevents me from holding down a full-time job. And unfortunately, in this area, there's not a lot of demand for studio musicians or recording engineers or producers or anything like that, and that's really all I can do. Because of the way my brain is wired, I have to have a good 2/3 of the day, like, for downtime. So there's no way I'd be able to work a full-time job. So I'm on Social Security disability, which is where my income is, and it's not a lot. It's just enough to cover rent, bills, things like that. Any money that I make on the side doing this, whether it's playing out or producing, recording somebody, playing on, doing some sessions, that all goes back into this. So I don't make any money off of it. There might come a point where, enough money would come in for me to get a piece of gear to check out, but that's extremely rare in my case. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. So unless Studio Logic or Decibel want to send me something to review, which I don't think is going to happen, I won't be reviewing any of that stuff. I do have some things that I will be looking at, mainly some older models. I've got one coming next week that I'm not going to say anything about because I want it to be a surprise. I will be doing eventually an all playing, no talking on the Hydrasynth because I filmed the review before I had the last 2 weeks just completely booked. So I still want to do an all playing, no talking with the Hydrasynth Deluxe. I do want to do a review on the Yamaha MX61. That's going to be happening soon. I might even do it today. I might even get all these done today in various live streams. And I suppose I could record these onto StreamYard and then upload them later. I just like doing them live. It's more convenient for me, and if anybody happens to tune in, I can interact with you guys in the chat. And it's more, to me, I just like that better, I guess. It's unscripted, it's really happening, but also note that the reviews as of late have not been sponsored, they haven't been paid for, nobody sent me anything for free. It's all coming out of, other than the Montage M8X, which my church owns, it's all come kind of coming out of my pocket. So just to get that out of the way. Um, Another one I'll talk about really quickly is, and first of all, before I mention this, I do want to thank everybody for all the comments that I've gotten on the videos that I've done, the reviews, the playing videos, anything like that. I have gotten a couple of comments on my clothing, and to address that really quickly, it's really, if you're going to troll, I think from now on, what's going to happen is your comment will get deleted. I do want to keep things civil, and I want to keep things positive in the comments section. So the reason I wear what I wear, I'll give you two explanations. The first one is, as I mentioned, I do have autism spectrum disorder, and there are many, many, many components to that. One of which is sensory overload. And then there's another component to that, which is the anxiety disorder that I mentioned earlier. One of the ways that I can keep myself comfortable is to minimize any sensory overload. And one of the ways that I do that is to dress as light as I can. It keeps me calm. A lot of people on the spectrum like to layer up almost. Let me see, how do I explain that? A lot of them like to layer up to the point where going to sleep at night, a lot of people on the autism spectrum might use a weighted blanket. It feels like they're kind of wrapped in a like a cocoon, and it kind of calms them down. Me, I'm the opposite. I used to like that when I was a kid, but I'm the opposite. I like to be able to feel like I can move. And again, it all comes down to sensory overload. For me, the most comfortable thing is the lightest thing that I can get away with wearing. That's the complicated explanation. The simple explanation is you wear what you like, I'll wear what I like. Now that we got that out of the way, I got a box to open. So if you remember a few weeks back, I got an RD88, a Roland RD88EX, and I wanted it to be a piano that I could play out with. And unfortunately, it just didn't live up to what I wanted. The action was really slow and sluggish and heavy, and I can't have that due to my hands. After having carpal surgery on this one and having carpal tunnel issues back in 2018, my hands really haven't been the same. So I sent that back to Sweetwater, got some credit and a little bit of extra money, and we got this. We got a Yamaha CK88 Stage Keyboard. So just got it delivered. What we'll do is we'll see what's in the box, put it on the stand, we'll set it up, and we'll check it out. So looking at the packaging, this versus the Roland, this looks like it's going to be a little bit easier to open up and to get the keyboard out. The Roland, you had to open it from the side and you had to reach in and pull it out. This, I like this kind of packaging a lot better. Plus, because I've got the overhead camera, you guys will be able to see what's in the box. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to cut the tape and we're going to open the box. Yeah, if anybody wants to play Pomp and Circumstance or something like that, that would be the time to do that. All right off the bat, we have some stuff from Sweetwater. So apparently they've already been in here. Ah, that too. So we've got a little flyer from Sweetwater, as well as a sticker if you're the kind of person that likes to cover your equipment with stickers. I save that for hard shell cases, especially ones that have been beat up and, you know, I don't know. I like to, you know, I like my equipment looking nice and new. Unless, of course, it's already, you know, had experience on the road. So this has some information on, you know, their return policy, some numbers and some websites you can call if you're not familiar with Sweetwater. That we can just put right over there. And Sweetwater is so sweet that they send candy. I don't need that. I don't eat candy. Not a big fan. So we'll set that right over there. Somebody else might want it. Okay, here we have the owner's manual. And quite honestly, I would say compared to Roland, Yamaha's owner's manuals are a little bit better. They're not the best that I've read. I would say currently the one for the Hydrasynth is really well written. Like explains everything, you know, pretty straightforward. So right in the front, we've got instructions on connecting a Bluetooth-equipped device for audio playback from the CK. And here we have the owner's manual. And it looks like it's in English, Francais, and Espanol. That's the extent of my foreign language education in junior high. That's all I remember from it. And then you can also, there's also some information where you can download manuals. There's even an owner's manual for the PA150B AC adapter that comes with the CK88. If I wrote an owner's manual for that, plug into the wall, plug barrel connector into device, voila. I'm sure it wouldn't take up that much paper. Put that back here. Oh, somebody's texting me during a live stream. Go away. Okay. So here we have an AC adapter. Ah, okay. Familiar territory. This is the one that comes with the, what was it? The Modi X7 that I sold a while back. But I have this one and I have one for the MX61. I'm pretty sure I'd have to look at the specs on that one, but I'm pretty sure they're kind of the same thing. And also for the record, I do want to keep my packaging as neat as I can. That's why I'm not, you know, throwing stuff all over the place, like that flyer. I just do that to be funny. Okay, so the styrofoam is in halves, which I like a lot. It makes pulling this out so much easier. So good job on the packaging, Yamaha. Okay. Oop. Let's reach down and grab that. And here we have the CK88. Couple more comments on the packaging. I really like the fact that I could just unwrap it. It's like Christmas came early. You just unwrap it right in the box. Makes it so much easier to pull this thing out. Good job, Yamaha. Also, instead of it being fully double boxed like my Hydrosynth Deluxe was, there's a second layer of cardboard all along the sides of the box, so that's another nice touch. I guess it is a way to save money, you know, versus double boxing, but you know what, it does the job fine. There's plenty of room between the top and the bottom, so if anything were to happen, I don't think this would get damaged at all. All right, now we have some fun with some twist ties. Okay, so here we have a CK88. I want to say it weighs about maybe between 30 and 35 pounds. I would say it's closer to the 30, so nice weight on that. As far as a case goes, I did keep the case that I bought when I got the RD88, and my sales rep and I measured both the internal dimensions of the case and also the dimensions of this. This is going to fit perfectly in it, so I will not have to worry about that. All right, so now let's just kind of take a look at what we have here. I'm also going to move this mic over so that I can talk to you guys and go through this at the same time. There we go. There we go. All right, so So it's an interesting touch. Most keyboards, we'll explain it later, the AC, the DC socket and the power switch are all the way over here on the left side underneath. Normally on a keyboard at this price point, I normally see them on the right, so it's kind of interesting that Yamaha have done this, but they've also done this on the MX61 as well. I normally would see it on a higher end instrument like the Montage, where you have the AC inlet on the right as I'm looking at it here, along with the power switch. Okay, so it's also interesting that they've got the outputs over here instead of over on the right. So that's interesting. Doesn't really bother me that much in that I use, show you really quickly on camera. I use these dual tip sleeve instrument cables now. Since I run my entire rig in stereo, I have to hook up half the cables, and just makes for a cleaner look and an easier setup. Okay. So there's something underneath here. Before I go any further, I want to flip this up and see exactly what's going on. Okay, battery compartment. So this can be powered. Looks like 8 AA batteries. It does have built-in speakers. Nice touch. I don't know if I'll ever use them, but again, in a pinch, if you're just doing, let's say you're doing a vocal rehearsal, if you just want to play by yourself in practice, I would, they're handy to have. So that's what that was. All right, so I want to try to do as much of this as I can without looking at the manual. Okay, output over here. So what do I have? I have the left, and then we're going to go into the right. Oh, and this is a nice touch. Yamaha have put the headphone socket, the headphone jack, on the front left. Thank you, Yamaha. Okay, so audio is hooked up. Now we'll go ahead and plug in the pedal. So this does not come with a pedal. Fortunately, I have one right here. And I'm guessing it's going to be plugged into one. All right, so let's get the AC adapter hooked up. Okay. And then I just got to go underneath my desk really quickly and grab the power strip, and we'll plug this bad boy in. All right, done. Okay, so power is hooked up, pedal is hooked up, and audio outs are hooked up. Let's go ahead and turn this on and see what happens. Okay, so you're hearing the speakers right now. So you're hearing the speakers right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shut them off. There's a switch on the back that does that, that turns your speakers on and off. Now I'm going to go and unmute channels 3 and 4 on the XR18. And we should have audio. We get a little bit of background noise, that's from the mic. What I'm looking for is the velocity curve. Okay, so first impressions, it sounds great. That's that Yamaha piano that my ears are just so familiar with and so in love with. So that's the CFX concert. Okay, so, oh, thank you. All right, so, sound, great. We will check out the organ too, the organ section, even though that's not the primary reason I got this. I really just want a good digital piano with some acoustic, some electric, and a few synth pads that I can layer. Because I've got the VR760 Roland for my organ stuff. And also, I'm not a big fan of playing organ from weighted action keys. So I'm going to get to the action. So this is the GHS graded action. To my hands, it's a little bit heavy to the touch compared to the montage, but I think it's manageable. I'll know really in, I would say, a couple days' time and some more time playing with this if the action is going to be, okay for me. Because, like I said at the beginning of the stream, I had carpal tunnel in 2018, and I would say about 95% of the modern day weighted actions out on the market today, I have major issues with. I really had a hard time with the RD88. I couldn't play maybe 5 minutes before my hand said, "No, you're not playing anymore." It was a real struggle on that action. This one, it's kind of too soon to tell right now, but the other thing with the RD88 is I tried every possible velocity curve, velocity offset. There were too many settings in there. As far as the touch curves in here, Yamaha's only got 3 settings, 3 or 4. If I go back in and I find it, if I go to General, hit Enter, go to Keyboard, hit Enter, Touch Curve. There's 4 different curves plus a fixed curve. So that's the wide curve. I already don't like that at all. That's the hard curve. That's not going to work for me. The normal curve. I find it a little bit heavy for me. I think it's going to wind up being the soft curve that I'm going to need to... Especially with these one-handed arpeggios, I want to make sure that each note see, my hand's kind of getting fatigued. It could just be a matter of practicing with this more. I would say it's heavy, but it's not as sluggish as the RD88 was. What I'm going to do, I'm going to move this window over to my second screen so that I can see you guys and see the comments better. No, I don't want you over there. I want you up there. Thank you. Yeah. No, they're not. They're smooth. They have some resistance to them, though. They're not, it's not, you know, terrible. Like, they're not super, they're not super loose. And the volume slider has got a little bit of resistance to it. EQ sliders feel solid. And honestly, I'll probably leave that EQ flat. I don't know how much I'm going to need. I use that. All right, well, let's check out some other, pianos in here. So that's the CFX stereo. Here's the stereo bright. So that's cool. It sounds to me like they've put a different piano in here and not just EQ'd the stock CFX piano. So that's a nice touch. Yeah, gosh. So, the montage is going to be used for some stuff, but not everything. Mostly the Christian-related stuff that I'm doing, where I need some of that, like the extra sampling and the extra engines and things like that, and the more advanced stuff that it offers. That's where I'm going to bring that one out. This one, I just need a bread and butter digital piano here. So this is the CFX Bright, and I really like it. I think once I can get used to the action, which is probably going to take a while, this might be my main piano sound. It's a bit brighter, a bit more top end than the stock one. So let's see. Here's the stock CFX stereo. And here's the bright one. Oh, turn that down a little bit. It almost seems like there's more in the upper mids. That makes it jump out a little more. Yeah, it really does cut through, so I like that. Let's see what else we have. We have the warm. So if I was going to do... So I got a couple pieces that I play to test out these pianos. One of them, and they're both originals. I also like the sound is not completely drenched in reverb like a lot of other keyboards are. So quiet notes, let's see. So what I'm going to do is turn the reverb off. Yeah, I don't hear any discernible sympathetic resonance on here. But then this isn't the stock. If I go back to the stock patch, yeah, I don't hear any sympathetic resonance, but in a band mix, it's probably going to get lost. So it doesn't really make that big of a difference where I'm going to use this one. Yeah, this piano sound is more natural compared to the RD88. And as far as the external speakers, I'm going to just pull my headphones off really quick, and I'll take a good listen to these. I don't think they're going to be all that powerful, and they're underneath the keyboard. So if you get this thing, instead of sitting it on a desktop, if you put it on a stand where these speakers can really breathe, you'll get the most out of them. But let me check those speakers. Excuse me one sec. So I will say the speakers are not very loud. So I would say they're good for solo playing or practicing if you're like maybe with a couple of people. But for even a small coffee house, I don't think they'll do the job. I would still recommend going out with a pair of like QSC K8s or Alto TX 310s or TS 410s to get a little more power out of them. But if you're just playing by yourself or practicing, like if you were in a college dorm, I think they would be more than fine. But I'll pretty much never need them. But the nice thing is, if you don't need them, there's a switch on the back where you can turn them right off. I wouldn't say that active monitors are required. I would say that they're recommended. It does have onboard speakers that are just not very powerful. Let's see what else we've got. So we have the warm one. If I wanted to get a little more ambient, you could just crank the reverb up too. You have three different kinds of reverbs. You have a hall, a room, and a plate. There's the room, there's the plate, and there's the hall. I would say the plate has like the longest decay on it. If you wanted to get even more ambient, you can throw the delay on. Okay, so what's happening here, maybe I'm pretty sure I can go in and change that. But the delay and the reverb are completely independent. It would be cool if one of them could feed into the other and you'd be closer to a more of an ambient kind of sound that you're looking for. Well, I've brought the M8X out to a few shows. Personally, if I had to choose between these two, if the M8X were mine and not my church's, I'd be taking that one out in a heartbeat. Plus, at 60 pounds, it will keep me in shape on the road. And it'll also give me a friendly reminder to keep up with working out on my total gym on a regular basis. Anyway, the pianos on that are amazing, and you have a lot more variety. Here, we just have a bread and butter instrument, so where, say on my classic rock, shows, or shows where I don't need the extra features that I can only get in the M8X, as far as some of the other sounds that I like using, this will more than do in a heartbeat. So there's a mono CFX. I'll never need it because I don't run in mono. So here's an S700. Not bad. There's a live CF3. Ooh. This one's got a little bit more top end to it. Quite like that a lot. Okay. So we have a couple of digital pianos. So one of them stereo, one of them mono. They're kind of almost going for the Roland RD1000 MKS20 kind of sound there. So here's a U1 upright. See what else we have. And then we've got two CP80s. That's one. So one of them's got a little more warmth than the other one. Let's go back to the hall reverb. Kind of dialing in a chorus. Nice. I like that. All right. Let's go to some E pianos. Throw a chorus on it. That's nice. That's nice. I got to go to Midland Park, New Jersey to Three Wave Music, and if you've never been there, it's pretty much a museum of nearly every analog synthesizer that could immediately come to mind. It really is keyboard player synth nerds like paradise. And this reminds me of the they had a Rhodes Mark V there that I tried out very, very briefly, and it honestly, I liked it over the Mark I and the Mark II that they had. They had a Mark I suitcase, and then they had a Mark II. I want to say it was a Stage. Can't remember. The Mark II had a cool tremolo effect on it, but I think I gravitated more toward the Mark V because I like I like that upper, kind of bell tone that you can get out of a nice Rhodes, you know. What I want to do something here. And what the heck? Let's grab a pad. So what I was testing there was on the RD88, when you even layered two sounds together, there would be a lag. Some of those notes, if you play a big block chord like that, there would be some notes that would lag behind others, and it would just sound like it would sound really sloppy. This is nice and tight. Just for the heck of it. Okay, so there's a couple other buttons here. One of them's a mono, which basically puts that section or that layer in a monophonic mode. Or you've also got a unison mode. Unison mode, you can get, you can kind of get that kind of honky tonk. So you can get that kind of sound if you wanted. everything's responding beautifully. Oh yeah, like... So I was able to do all of that without really doing any menu diving at all, which I really like. Yes, me likey. Okay, let's go back here to my electric piano. I want to see what else is going on. I do like that 78 Rhodes. And that's the other thing with an instrument is, well, I don't know, I'm a Yamaha fan too. I really like like I said, the Montage M8X, but I've also got a Mark I DX7. I am not ashamed to say that. Let's check out what else they got. So 73 Rhodes. A little bit more brightness on it. Could benefit from some chorus. Yeah, I had a MoDX. While it sounded really good, I couldn't stand the key bed. I had the 7, and honestly, I thought the key bed was worse than the MX61. So sold that to get this, or like I said, a digital piano, you know, that I could take out. Oh, what else we have? Okay, Whirly is nice. passable. I can use that. Oh, now we're getting into harpsichord. Nice. And then a coupled harpsichord. This one doesn't have, I wish it had that release that has. But I think what's happening is there's 2 parts per voice. And the second part was that release click that you heard on the first harpsichord. Obligatory DX7 piano. Being a praise and worship artist, that's one sound that I don't care how cliche it is, I have to have it. And I love it. I'm not ashamed to say it. I love it. Yeah, that too. I could try it. Yeah, not quite working on that. I think what's going on is it's a 2-element voice, and I think that second element is the upper octave, whereas on that first harpsichord, that second element is that release noise. DX7-2, DX mellow. Ah, that's what happens when the velocity goes above 100. Back to 78. So we kind of went through all the acoustic pianos, all the electric pianos. Greetings there. All right, let's check out the organs now. So that's dry. Now if I throw it into a rotary, so I will say this, I probably will never use the organ sounds on here unless absolutely necessary as a backup. There's two rotary sims on here. To my ears, rotary 2 is miles ahead rotary 1. So if I were to go to rotary 1, if anything, it sounds like vibrato. And then here's rotary 2. Rotary 1. Rotary 2. I mean, personally, to my ears, my VR760 goes far and above both of those. But this is a $1,500 instrument. You do get what you pay for. If you were to step up to the YC series, you're going to get their better. You're going to get a better rotary sim that they did in a update a few years ago. That's also in the Montage M8X. That's a very decent rotary sim, but this one here, like I said, I will probably never use the organ sounds on here again unless absolutely necessary. So let's continue on. Let's see what else we got in here. Okay, so we've got some different tone wheel options. So that's supposed to be a Hammond. That's supposed to be a Vox. That's a Farfisa. Let's turn that off. That's supposed to be an Ace tone, I think. It's a Yamaha YC. Old YC combo. And we get to pipe organs. we get to a concert organ. Let's throw some reverb on that. I find that reverb really helps with opening up a pipe organ sound. Very nice. I've always loved Yamaha's pipe organs. That one's nice. A lot of them in here. Ooh, that's nice. Very nice. Yeah, I agree. They're great. The two on the montage are just absolutely amazing. Yeah, I think I tried the VR09 like once, like several years ago. Was not a fan of the key bed, especially for organ. I think for organ, the one on the VR760 is just perfect. It's very, very, very light to the touch, and there's also an adjustable trigger point where you can have it trigger shallow or you can have it trigger deep. I've got it set to shallow. It just makes it just fast and easy to play. Yeah, the envelope controls on the MX61, as I showed you last night, they don't really jump in any way. They're just very touchy in some spots where they're really, really sensitive. Very nice. Got some church organs, like 4 different ones. We get into stuff like accordions. That would benefit from that unison switch. That would benefit from an expression pedal. Yeah, it is, especially on the 760. So let's check out a few more. So now we're getting into brass sounds. Let's see what else we got. I'm going to mention this right now. The wheels feel great. I wish they were down here. I've never liked them up here out of the way. Let's see, soft brass. Just a prime example of the excellence in Yamaha's acoustic sounds. Saxophones, not so much, and that's a tough sound to nail. Plastic. And I don't mind that. I don't mind having it plastic. I can easily slip. But they are ribbed. There is some ridging going on where it's not a smooth plastic, where there's still a little bit of a grip on it, like especially if you like to grip up here or down here. So it's not like totally slippery at all. Nice light spring on the bend wheel. Modulation's nice and smooth. Just wish they were down here. Gosh, Yamaha, can you make me a CK88 with the wheels like down here? I don't mind the extra length at all. I will say these ones feel very similar, like in size, to the original DX7, the wheels on the DX7. Like I think they're the same size. You know, again, this one feels, it's light to the touch, you know, not too much resistance on it, which I really like. Uh, all right, guitars. Oh yeah, did they update the ones on the Modi X Plus? Because the ones on the Modi X were a ribbed texture. Yeah, just like with the pipe organs, great guitar sounds in here. Which is great because I'm not a guitar player. I think I like the first one better. The steel string. I think I like the first one better. Now we get into like guitar electrics, which I don't really have any need for. Yeah, the montage has some amazing ones, especially the M8X. All right, so now what I want to do really quickly, and I want to see if I can do this without going to the manual. I want to take the piano. I want to basically take these sounds and I want to drop the piano by an octave. So if I go to settings, go to sound, go to part B, well, maybe it's not there. Let's go back to here, down, nothing. Let's try function. Part color, audio trigger, external keyboard, master keyboard, nope. Controllers, no, because that's going to be a wheel assign. Sound, let's go to common. Layer split, enter mode. Nope, I don't want to go there. Interesting. Okay. I just hit the octave button and it basically just shifted everything over, which I don't want to do. Because I'd like to have that. I'd like to have access to that. It is, but I'm not a fan of the supernatural sounds, James, as I did in the RD88. Go to menu, enter system, MIDI audio control. Nope, not in there. Let's go back to settings. No, it's not going to be in there. Let's go here, part A. I think I found it. No, I want to go to part B. Note shift. Found it. Like that. Now Okay, if I go down to controllers, well, that's sustain. What I'd like to do now is, no. Okay, here we go. So I want it on part B, but off on part A, because part A is mine. That's a cool idea I gotta play around with sometime. So with this pad sound, let's go enter. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to live set settings, up to sound. Now I want to go to part C, enter, note shift, down an octave, and go enter. I almost, I'll talk about the user interface in a minute. The action now, I will say this, it's miles better than the RD88. It's still a bit heavy. But switching it to the soft touch curve, as they call it in here, velocity curve, improves it quite a bit. At least for my hands, my right hand feels like just the slightest bit tired, but nowhere near as bad as the PHA4 action on the RD88. Okay, so I like that. Now if I go back out of here, and if I go back up to acoustic bass, I want to see what other... A little fatiguing with that kind of a thing, like repeated notes. Still not there, not quite passing the Billy Joel Angry Young Man test, but it's, I think it's miles better than what was on the RD88. I will say the sound quality to my ears is just fine. I mean, RD88 had some tricks up its sleeve with some of the Zencore sounds, but there were just too many of them in there. I think there was probably over like 3,000 in there, and probably 2,998 of them I probably would never use. I don't think the GHS has a triple sensor, because it doesn't let off. Let's off right about there, so not quite. I don't quite think it has triple censoring. I think so. I think it's just twin, dual sensors. Let's change that. There we go. So changing the split point, if it's on a one, if you're splitting, if you've got one split going. Okay, so my final thoughts here. It sounds great. Number one, I'm going to get that out of the way. It sounds really good. It's the quality that I expect from Yamaha as far as the sound quality. I would say second in class to the Montage, to the M8X, as far as sound quality goes. As far as the user interface, most everything you need to get to is right on the surface here. However, there is a little bit of menu diving needed in order to do some of the things I was doing with, octave changing, like with the piano and with the pad sound when I was doing that split. But the other thing, too, is I didn't want to look at the manual. I wanted to see how fast I could get, to certain things, and it took me a while to get to where the octave shift is. I will say, as far as the menu diving component goes, the way that it's laid out is you have your screen here, you have a settings button, a menu button, your exit button, and your enter button over here. You've got value up and down, and then you have your value knob here, which is, obviously it's an endless encoder and it's notched, which basically means you'll feel it like stepping, every time you change a value. What I wish they would have done, what I would have liked to have seen was a couple of cursor buttons over here for the settings and the menu, because otherwise you're using the value dials over here, and it's not quite. It took me a little bit to figure that out, or you use the value dial here. I think if they would have made just a couple of up and down cursor buttons over here and just move this over tiny little bit, that would probably make the UI experience a little bit better. Does it have sets? Yes. So, and also what I just realized is if I go to the live set buttons here, now they have lit up to the 5 functions on the menu. So general, job, file, Bluetooth, and version info. If I were to press number 1, it would take me into general, and now it takes me to the 6 functions here, where if I go into, if I wanted to go to MIDI, I just press that, and then, so it does all that kind of stuff here. And if I want to get out of it, I just press exit. So it does have live sets. I'm not sure how many pages of them there are. Oh, we got plenty. So there's 20 times 8 will give you 160 live sets. And the last one is basically an initialized sound, or an initialized set. It's still on the soft. Okay. It's not quite seamless sound switching like there is on the montage. Because now we've got, you'll hear some glitching in the effects, like when the effects change. So you've got 160 live set slots, which I think is, for what I'm going to use, is more than enough. I'm probably only going to need like maybe 5 or 6 at the max, but you never know, you really never know until I actually play out with it and try it out live how many I'll actually need. And the other thing too is, as far as the lack of seamless sound switching, I'll never need it here because I don't change presets. I don't like to change presets in the middle of a song, which is why my live setup is so big. I probably use, what's going on, Asaph? Live, I use 4, maybe 5 keyboards, depending on the gig. But each one does its own job, and I like to take comfort in knowing that when I play the piano, it's always going to be a piano. My organ is always going to be an organ, you know, etc., etc. Like this is always going to be either an acoustic piano, a layered acoustic piano with a pad, or a couple different types of electric pianos. And that's pretty much all this is going to be. And I like that I can just quickly, get to stuff as I need it. I will say the action is going to take some getting used to, but it's better than, like I said, it's better than the RD88 by a mile. So it sounds great. It's easy to use for the most part, with a couple of minor exceptions. I'm kind of recapping over. Yeah, just if you're just tuning in, I'm kind of gonna go recap over what I've my first impressions of the CK88. Like I said, it sounds great. The action's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but it's far better than the RD88. It has it's got 3 sections, and they can be anything. It doesn't have to be, you know, organ, piano, synth like on some keyboards that shall remain nameless. Part A can be something different. Part B can be whatever you want. Part C can be whatever you want. You're not limited to, oh, part A's just got to be the organ, part B has got to be piano, and part C has got to be synth. You can mix and match all these sounds in here any which way you want with the 3 parts. Yeah, I thought about the Numa, but honestly, it's out of my range as far as my budget was concerned. I mean, I had a show a couple weeks ago, and I was able to scrape together a little bit of extra money to get this in place of the RD88. There were some things about the Numa. I'm not a big fan of Fatar keybeds, weighted keybeds at all. I haven't tried the TP400 yet, but I don't like any of the TP100, 110s. I don't like the way they bottom out. This feels really solid. There's no extra bounce to it like on like the TP100s or the 110s, which is partly the reason why I sold my Keylab 88 Mark I, years ago when I had that. That I don't think lasted more than a year and a half. I just didn't like the action on it. And especially with my hands the way they are, the way the keys bottom out is extremely important. Like, it's really got to be, nice and solid. As far as how easy it is to use, you can do a lot of stuff on the surface without having to dig into the menus. But when you dig into the menus, there are some things that I wish were a little bit clearer. Like I said, when you go into the menus, it would have been nice to have some cursor buttons over here to, go through your menus like up and down. Obviously, I can do it from here, from the live set buttons. So if I wanted to go into controllers, I just hit the 2 button. Foot pedal 1, I can just hit 3. So I can jump around like that. It just takes a little getting used to. I'm so used to having some cursor buttons and then an enter and an exit button, like nearby. Again, that's, something that it just might be a matter of me having to get used to it, but it would have been nice to have a couple extra cursor buttons up there. But I think that's my only comment on the user interface. And then some functions, like octave shifting each part and not the whole keyboard, it would have been nice to have a way to get to that quicker than it took me to get to that. Because to get to that, the octave shift, I've got to go to settings, I have to go to sound, and then I got to pick my part, like part B, and then I have to go to note shift over here, And it took me a while to get to that because it wasn't quite clear, at first glance where the octave shift was. Other tiny little things, I do like the layout. The layout is nice and clean. It's very elegant looking. Um, ba-ba, 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 da-da-da. Do-do-do. Hey Brett, how you doing? Yeah, so trying one out in store is probably going to be next to impossible unless I take a flight to Fort Wayne, Indiana to Sweetwater. Because I live in South Berwick, Maine. The closest Guitar Center is Portsmouth, New Hampshire. They stock absolutely nothing in their keyboard department as far as pro level keyboards. And honestly, I haven't been to the Portland store in well over a decade, probably like 13 years. So I don't know how their keyboard department has dwindled down. So I would have to, again, I'd have to order one and have them ship it to me to try it, and then only to send it back if it's not right for me. But anyway, moving on. Unless Studio Logic wants to send me one to review, which is probably not going to happen either, until I start making like $10 million a video, which again probably isn't going to happen. Other little things, it's got a clean, elegant look, which I really like. The front is really elegant looking too. We have the jacks all the way here at the bottom, which you kind of have to reach around to get to. Again, it's a minor thing, but if you've got a second keyboard sitting on top here, this is going to take a little bit. It's going to be kind of awkward plugging and unplugging things in the back here. So I would have to reach underneath in order to do that, or walk around the back of the keyboard when I'm setting things up. Control wheels over here, pitch and mod, feel nice. They're similar to what you'd find on the DX7, like classic DX7. Again, my only thing is I kind of wish they were to the left of the keyboard. I like my pitch and mod wheels to the left, and this is a very subjective topic. A lot of people, probably don't even use them up here, on a keyboard like this. I'm probably never going to use them, so I guess it's okay that they're up here. But if I do go for them, it'd be nice to have them down here to the left of the keyboard instead of having to come up here. It's kind of an awkward positioning, right over here. Matter of fact, I'm not a big fan of having the Keylab 61 having the wheels, up here. I'm just not a fan of having them up here at all. I like them to the left. One. Are you talking about the weight? So the weight of this is about 35 pounds. I would say I think it's 35. I'd have to check the specs. It's around 30 to 35. So it weighs no more than my VR760 or my HydroSynth Deluxe, which is totally fine. Now, I do have a case for it. I still have the Roland case that I purchased when I got the RD88 a few weeks back. And we did all the measurements, and this should fit in that okay. Matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll step away for a few seconds. I'll go out back and I'll get the case, and then we'll see how this fits in that. I know Yamaha make a case for it, but since I've already got the Roland case, and it seems to fit okay, we'll check that and see how that goes. Yeah, yeah, Roland not so, well, no, Roland had pitch and mod wheels on the RD88. Again, they were very awkwardly placed, and they were kind of small. I like them nice and big like this, so I get a little bit more room for things like vibrato on the pitch wheel. I like it nice and big like that. It just makes it easier to do that. Korg, not so much, unless you... I'm pretty sure that I thought the Grand Stage had it. The original Grand Stage had them. But again, I'm not so sure on that. But yeah, Roland had, and the RD2000 has the pitch lever plus 2 wheels, but it has such a horrible action in the PHA50. But I will be right back. I'm going to go get the case, the Roland case, that I'm going to put a Yamaha keyboard in, which is probably sacrilege to some people, but I have it, no need to send it back, and my Sweetwater rep did all the measurements and said it would fit into it, so we're going to go check that out. So I will be right back. All right. Yeah, so 28 pounds. That's like lighter than both the Hydra and the VR760. So, and it's pretty solid. Again, with something, you know, that has a main plastic construction like this or the MX61, you want a good padded case for it. And the Roland case is pretty padded. Oh, look at this. Silica gel. I did this before when I did the RD88 review, but I like doing this bit anyway because it's so stupid it's true. So silica gel, and on this little pack, and it's really for moisture, it says do not eat. So out of everything here, this is the only thing that says do not eat. So it's okay to eat the keyboard, it's okay to eat the power supply, it's okay to eat the cables, the sustain pedal, and the case, but whatever you do, don't eat this. I don't know, it needs some garlic or some seasoning or something. I don't know. Probably needs to be grilled. Like, you know, just lather it in some butter and just throw it on a flat top. Also says throw away. It just doesn't say how far. Not bad. I think I beat my record by about, I don't know, 6 inches. Yeah, Modi X6 is super light. It's like, I think it's like 13 pounds. The MX61 is about 8 or 9 pounds. My thing with light keyboards is you have to be careful with playing them, because if you play aggressive like a lot of, you know, keyboard players, what'll happen is the keyboard could move around on the stand, and I want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So I don't play as, you know, heavy-handed as I used to, mainly because of my hands and the carpal tunnel issue that I had. But okay, we're going to go ahead and test the fit on this. So in order to do that, we're going to go ahead and mute it. Going to go ahead and power it down. We'll go ahead and unplug it. And then a couple minor little nitpickiness of mine. I would like to see the audio outputs over on this side, because traditionally that's where they usually live on keyboards. Because it would be nice to be able to use a snake on a 2-tier keyboard stand. So having a 4-channel 1/4-inch snake to go from here to my XR18 would streamline it even more as far as the cabling. Yeah, good, because the keybed is horrible. Stay away from it as far as you can. The MX61 keys are, I want to say they're a little bit better. They have just the tiniest bit more resistance to them, but I haven't had to mess with the velocity curve as much as I had with the Modi X. But even then, I'm still glad I sold it, because those keys were not nice. All right, so what I'm going to do now is we'll go ahead and we'll pick this up and we'll put it in the roll-in case and see if it fits. Oh look, another pack of silica gel. Why have one when 2 is more fun? Good, get over there. All right. Yeah, that's a near perfect fit. Other than maybe about an inch on one of the ends, maybe an inch and a half. But Roland were gracious enough to include an extra little piece of padding that you can Velcro on either end of the case, or you can adjust it depending on how long your keyboard is, so you can have a tight fit. But again, other than the extra inch on the side, from the front to the back, it's a perfect fit. So, yep, my Sweetwater rep was right. Okay, looks like this is a QR code for registering this puppy. I'm going to wait a couple days and play with this some more before I register it, and then I'll let my Sweetwater rep know on Monday or Tuesday whether or not I want to keep it. But I've got a pretty good window to return it, if anything, if I'm not too crazy about the action. But again, I think the action, while miles better than what the RD88 was, I think this one will just take a little bit of getting used to. It's still heavy to the touch, but it's not as slow, and it's heavy, but it's not sluggish. So we have been going for about 2.5 hours over here. So once again, other than a few little minor nitpicks, as far as the user experience goes with the menu diving, if you need to do that, which I think there's a tiny little hiccup in that, which again might be something that I'm not used to, that I need to get used to. And then the location of the pitch and mod wheels, I keep saying this, I wish they put them on the left. I'll make another point here before we end it. And I'll tell you guys what's coming, what I have planned coming up. I don't know when those are going to happen, but so I went to Guitar Center in Boston last year because I was playing at a revival meeting, and they had a CK88 there, and that one felt great to my hands. Here's why. They had the CK88 on an angle on some slat wall, on a couple of arms that weren't sitting flat. They were tilted, and with a weighted action, you cannot do that because it will change the way a keyboard feels. So I implore anybody, if you're going out to get a digital piano, you're looking to purchase one, do yourselves a favor and get the employees to set that piano on a normal stand instead of having it on an angle on the slat wall, because it will affect how the keyboard feels. Most weighted slash hammer action keyboards rely on gravity for them to work to their fullest. So when you angle them on some slat wall or on a stand, like put it on a second tier and have it tilted towards you, you're compromising some of that action. And if you're a customer looking to buy a piano for the first time and you're not sure how the action is, let's say I were to buy that CK88, after trying it on a slanted, stand, take it home and it feels completely different if I take that same one home. And then I got to go take it back and tell them, hey, this keyboard doesn't feel right. So if you're a customer and you're looking for a digital piano, I recommend you get the employer to take it off the slat wall and put it on a flat stand so you can really feel what the action feels like. And if you're a music store owner or employee that happens to have a keyboard section that has some digital pianos that are on a tilted, on a tilted stand or support system, please, I implore you, set those arms flat. I think the second stream that I've said that about, or a couple of times, but anyway, so those are my first impressions of the CK88. I'm going to play with it some more. We'll do an all playing, no talking on this one for sure. Probably, hopefully within the next couple of days. I also have an all playing, no talking that I want to do on the Hydrasynth Deluxe. I already did my review on it. So I have that coming up. I do want to do the review and the all playing, no talking on the MX61. So that will be coming up soon. And then I also want to try with this. There is a way to hook up an external controller and control one of the three parts from it. So you can set, let's say you play part A and part B from the CK88. You could play part C from an external keyboard, so you could have a 2-keyboard rig, but have all your sounds coming out of here. Very similar in the way that I demoed that with the Montage M8X when I had the Keylab 61 and my MX61 hooked up to it. So that's kind of what's coming up. I do have Soulfest this coming week from Wednesday through Saturday. So I've got a few days where I can get some things done and uploaded. I'm going to live stream everything. I'm pretty sure I can record everything in StreamYard and then upload it later. I'd rather live stream it because I'd rather have the interaction with everybody here. Because it really makes it for a more, real review and demo and experience with all these keyboards that I have. So, I mean, for the foreseeable future, it will be a live stream. It will be live streaming pretty much, well, all the time, not pretty much. And then I might do a couple of more streams where I just hang out, maybe work on writing some music, try some different things. And I don't have any more M8X streams planned. You can go back and watch the 3 that I did previously. Yeah, I would go, because I pretty much have covered everything that I need to cover with that. Where I might use it again on a live stream is touring my live rig. But who knows? And then I have something else coming next week. Hopefully the beginning of the week. They were supposed to ship it out Friday. But we'll see what happens. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to spoil it. Because I'll just say this. I'd been looking for one for the last 9 years. And I've had 2 of them prior to getting this one. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. So thank you everybody for tuning in and watching and joining me on this adventure with the CK88. Thank you everybody for watching, and for everybody that's watching this on catch up on a replay, thank you so much. And have a good afternoon. Well, at least it's afternoon here. It's about 1:45. So the only other thing left to say is, take care, everybody.